Good night.
We are live.
We're live, Senate Appropriations, April 3rd.
You did.
We are talking about general FY 26 budget adjustment. So right now we have a special guest from the Council State Legislature. So I'll let you introduce yourself for the record, Aaron.
Is this a cleaning cloth?
It's an eyeglass. Yes, you can. Oh, wait.
There's a whole file on there.
I hope there's a whole file.
There is a whole
The
file.
pro tem just jumped.
Well, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you so much for having me. My name is Erica McKellar. I'm with the National Conference of State Legislatures. I am in our fiscal affairs program, and I focus mainly on state fiscal conditions and state budget process issues. But I also have the great honor of being NCSL's liaison to the Vermont legislature. So what that means is that I get to come here once a year and visit with all of you and make sure you're aware of our services and how we can assist you and learn how we can maybe better support your work. And also just to be a point person so that if you ever have any questions for NCSL, you don't have to be trying to find the right person. You can just come to me and I'll make sure to connect you with the right people at our organization. NCSL is a bipartisan organization dedicated to strengthening the legislative institution, and we really want you to think of us as an extension of your legislative staff. One of the main things that we do is we conduct research when we receive research requests from you all, just like your legislative staff would do. So anytime you have a policy question or you want to know what other states are doing around an issue, please always feel free to reach out to me. One of the other things we do is we put on a lot of meetings and events, both in person and virtual. And I'm excited to say our big legislative summit this year is in Boston, August 4th through 6th. So I hope that some of you will be able to attend. I have these nice little note cards if you want to pin them to your fridge, just you know, as a reminder, or just every time you wipe your glasses, you can be reminded. We also offer a number of training and professional development opportunities. We have a whole training staff that's happy to come in and do caucus trainings or committee trainings or anything like that, if that would be helpful for you. Our main office is in Denver, but we also have an office in DC that does a lot of work for our state-federal relations. So they're very busy right now. And mostly I'm here because I wanted to kind of check in with you all and learn about your experiences with NCSL, answer any questions that you might have, and learn how we can better support you. And thank you for your support as well.
Can you give us a breakdown? So the big conference, the summit is in Boston in August. Do you have other, like the one I went to in Seattle, which I found very rewarding on budgeting? Is there other ones like that are throughout the year? And are those just for folks on appropriations, or do you have other ones like that just for folks on transportation?
Yeah, there are a number. We put on, I want to say it's like 100 meetings a year, a lot of issue-specific meetings. So there are a number happening this fall around different topic areas. If you go to our website, there is a little events section that will list everything in date order, but some are, anyone can register. Some are targeted towards chairs of different types of appropriations committees or vice chairs, things like that. But I'm happy if there's a topic area, for example, our fiscal meetings, I'm happy to kind of send you a list of some available opportunities or touch base with you on those. That would be helpful.
Well, I did find I don't know what that was called, a budget meeting that I went to useful, not only for that meeting, but then meeting NCL staff, because I did have some transportation questions that I could reach out to the right people. That was helpful to have that research done.
We also provide testimony on different topics. I know we've done that for several committees this year, and if we can't, we're happy to connect you with experts in different areas who can. So.
And you need your reports or white papers on different topics.
We do, yes.
Sarah Lyons?
Well, I do have an issue to ask you about, and one of the things that I also chair health and welfare, and one of the issues that sort of travels between this committee and health and welfare is our homeless program, how to build better policy around housing for those who don't have homes. So I'm asking if you have someone who could bring me information or a summary paper or what other states are doing. I've looked into a little bit, but we don't have time to do that. That'd be really helpful, and I can give you this little note, so you've got my email address there.
Absolutely. I would be happy to do that. I know that is an issue for a number of states, so
It is.
something
It's huge right now, right? It's across the country. It's devastating.
happy to do that.
Thank you.
Other research requests that I can take back to our staff, or happy to try and answer questions around fiscal issues in the states. That would be helpful.
Are other, so there was a question, but first, we were working with the budget, and the House did have some language about how to deal with potential federal downturns in federal money of a large scale. And I didn't know, so we have some language kind of what we will do with the legislature at a session. So I don't know if you don't have to answer right now, but if there are other things that other states have done to provide for when the assembly is not in session, what they could do to deal with large downturns in federal funds. If there is a best practices from other states, that would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely talking with folks right now to learn what sort of contingency plans they're making or what processes they have in place to deal with that if that occurs. My sense right now is that most states are doing kind of what you all are doing and passing their budgets using the estimates that you have, and then sort of trying to get ahead of it with some sort of mechanism, or just planning to come back into special session if they have to revisit the budget. But yes, happy to look in more into that and get some more info.
How many states are full-time legislature? Are there a few that actually meet year-round?
There are a few, it's just a handful. Yeah, I think it's New York, California, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, although in Illinois, but our legislative staff services program who tracks this, they have different categories. Some are like almost full-time, so there's some different degrees there. I think we have a map that I could share if that would be.
In fact, just meets only every other year, but yet they have like a lot of committee work and stuff that happens on the off year.
I don't know how much committee work they actually have. I think they mostly just meet 2 times a year, but they do have a very large legislative staff. I think their legislative budget board staff is like
they're limited to a very short meeting time.
What's that?
They're limited to a very short meeting time.
Yes, their session is
Constitutional.
yes, I believe so.
Senator Watson?
Thanks. I have 2 questions. Grateful that our chair asked about the potential for budget impacts, the potential for money going away, but I'm wondering if there is some kind of comprehensive list or collection of policies that states are implementing in response to the policy changes that we're seeing at the federal level. Things in terms of response to changes in immigration, or I think of, just as an example, I believe there's a fair housing office was closed at the federal level, and so ensuring that we have somebody who's doing something in that role at the state level. These kinds of like how are states responding to policy related changes. If there was, I realize you probably all can't be partisan, but it would be good that would be valuable to know how other states are responding.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anywhere that has that all in one place. We're tracking executive orders on our website, and I think each individual program area is sort of tracking the responses to within sort of those different program areas. So for example, our Health and Human Services and our Children and Families program would probably be tracking the closure of,
separate from that, a sort of classic intractable problem in energy is the split incentive. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that as an idea. But always on the lookout for how are other states addressing the split incentive, which, if that's unfamiliar,
Give the 30-second.
the 30-second version is if a landlord does not include heat in the rent, then the landlord would have no financial motivation to do any energy improvement work or transition, because they would never see that money come back to them. The incentive is sort of it's split from the benefit.
Okay, that makes sense. I will have someone from our energy program look into that and give it to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
But I would just say the other benefit that I found going to the NCSL, I always get the acronym wrong, NCSL, I want to put the S opposed to NCSL conference, was meeting other legislators from around the country, met a lot of interesting appropriation chairs and vice chairs and members from the South that I just would not normally ever meet and get to talk to, and for their perspective on how they're dealing with things was very interesting, not part of the formal agenda, but definitely valuable. And I assume that's the same when you go to the larger summit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll take a card. I don't have any glasses for that.
Okay. Anything else?
Any other questions? Well, thanks. You having a good visit to Vermont?
I'm having a wonderful visit, thank you.
Yes, I do have a question. So what are the hottest topics that you're seeing in other states?
In terms of all policy areas?
Yeah.
Our CEO usually answers this question, but my sense is housing, affordable housing is a big issue. Transportation funding, K-12 funding, sort of those big.
Sounds
healthcare,
familiar.
you know,
All
those,
Yeah,
yeah,
making its way.
yeah.
Right. We're not special with those three from.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you very much for your support at NCSL. We appreciate it, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me if there's anything that I can do.
Thank you for the glasses.
You're very welcome. I actually do have a couple of things that our leadership teams have put. Would it be okay if I could do those while I'm here?
Oh, yeah, I'll follow you up.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I mean, sure, you can follow me. I can also just give them to you. It's just a book.
Okay.
Should I pass it down? Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
And those.
Thank you very much. Do they still send out emails to everyone on the legislature?
They do. Do you not receive them?
Are you gonna?
I used to receive them a lot. I've checked again.
So there are some different ones. There's NCSL
Okay,
Today,
I
which
can-
is sort of our daily rundown of some big things,
I
headlines in
can
the
lead
states.
people
I'm
through
sorry.
this.
And then, you can sign up for individual specific issue area newsletters.
I don't need to go.
Thank you.
And I can help you get set up with some of those.
The summits don't have like themes different years. It's always just everything kind of.
This year kind of has a theme because it's our 50th
right.
anniversary, so, yeah, we're excited about that.
Well, we're glad you're close by.
Yeah.
We don't have an excuse though not to go. If you want to drive.
Is this different from the one we got the other day?
This is different than the first one we got, but I think it's yeah, we should put dates on it, but because there was some errors, right?
Yeah, we,
Oh, okay.
a couple of errors.
So this could be different.
The governor, yeah, it's the governor's draft. No, it's the fiscal year 25 that's, the numbers may be a little.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, look up number 51.
You just get it. What's in it for Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a big bill, not that big.
Thanks again, Erica, and we'll see you in Boston.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're gonna go through the web report, section by section, and close them out, or not close them out, or answer questions or other, which could be, we want to have specific testimony, or somebody to come in, or we have a question for Amy, or anything like that. So, if everybody has that web report, that's what we'll try to do. And then, so, and if there's any, like, if one of these is your section, and either you're still gonna meet with them, so you want to hold off on it, we can skip over it. Or if you have anything to say, but like some of them, there's just not much to say. So starting with the Secretary of Administration, there's this house change. I forgot, actually, this is my section, but so I'm not off to a good start, about why this is because the Agency of Administration works on the whole Clean Water Board recommendations there from the whole process. But I don't remember why the house reduced to $120,000.
Because the revenue estimates changed after the governor, presented the budget. The revenue estimates approved by the, emergency board in the middle of the month, within a week of the time the budget came, and they didn't have a chance to adjust it.
And because what revenue are they, is this in reference to? This is
The
the
yeah,
Clean Water,
and,
the
what's
Clean
the
Water
tax
Fund.
that goes in?
Yeah, what is it? I can't remember. It's the, there's like fees and stuff like that. I thought some of the,
No, there's a tax that goes in.
Sorry, to the,
Clean Water Fund.
Clean Water.
The one that, like, when the treasurer
Yes.
created, what tax was that?
I mean, it's not part of the property transfer tax, is it?
No, I don't think so. So that's why, so it's just the house reducing whatever that tax is. We'll go back and figure it out.
I know that in the Clean Water Board meeting, they agreed to reduce
Right.
their revenue, but I don't know the details.
Yeah. Well, I will figure it out.
I can't remember the tax that goes in there.
But yeah, it was a big deal when we passed it.
Yes, it was.
Into the clean water fund?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was part of that grand.
I don't think this changes any
No,
statute
no.
or anything. It just,
Like Amy said, there was agreement that just the revenue was down, so they had less money to spend. So other than we'll find out what the tax is, just so we know, we're gonna close this out. So 101, Office of Racial Equity. This is pretty straightforward. Suppose that we just close that out.
did she come in and ask for more money?
No,
No, Director Davis? No.
Same amount.
Same amount.
What was that ideal? One time.
Right, right. The ideal program is a program of the Office of Racial Equity, and that's $200,000 at the house that's cut.
Yeah, that's what she talked about.
So we'll kind of deal with that when we go through the one. Okay, Finance Division, Director Greshams, we want to give him a hard time. It's pretty straightforward.
yeah.
So we close that out. Secretary of Workers' Compensation. Close that out. General liability insurance. Close that out. All other insurance, we'll close that out. Pension plus funding, this is that's also part of our catch-up payments. So we're agreeing to that. Agency of Digital Services, Communications and Information Technology. This doesn't deal with any of the questions that we had on that. Doesn't this part of their budget?
I don't think so. You mean
That fund,
SLA.
yeah, the SLA kind of.
SLA.
issue.
No, I don't think so.
That's like in a one time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can close this out, because this is just their staff costs. I mean, the internal service fund is in here, but not related to the,
Is that 104.1 you're talking about?
no, this is B 105.
105. Thank you.
That's basically what the governor recommended, is to add $15 million extra to kind of shore up their internal service fund so they're not billing in arrears next year. And the House cut that in half, so it'll take them 2 years to kind of fill that all in. B 106, recommend closing that out. Human resource operations. Is this your old shop, Amy? Okay, close that out. Human resource operations. Close that out. B 109. I think we can close that out. Libraries. Wasn't there some issue with libraries? They did come in, but I guess they were just fine. Did they have an ask that was separate?
I think they just came in to explain what they did. I don't think they wanted more than what the House did.
And they didn't.
I mean, I assume they would take more. but-
Sure, and I guess anything they would do would be in one time, it wouldn't be in this part of the budget.
It is added.
Okay, okay, so we'll close out libraries. Administration, collections and tax. Close that out. Tax does have one issue, which you remember from the BAA. Assuming the governor vetoes the BAA we just passed, if you remember, there's the telephone personal property tax requirement that they had to do it by April. April 1st is coming on and they haven't done it. So we had put it in both the BAAs. If there's not a new BA, we need to make sure we put that in the budget. But again, that wouldn't be in this section of the budget. So we can close that out. BGS. Close that out. That's the administration, B113 engineering. We can close that out. Capital projects. Does the capital project get affected by the capital bill? Or this is just the capital project stuff?
Looks like it's just the staff.
So, because there might be some issues with the actual capital bill, but with the personal and operational services, I think we can close that out. It's actually less than, B114, information centers. I actually do have a question for BGS on this that I meant to ask, so I want to leave that open.
Okay.
Purchasing, building general services, and then we can close that out. B117, coffee center. We can close that out. Fleet management. We haven't had fleet management into transportation. But this is just their costs, personnel. Because there is some language we've done in the T-bill about the fleet in the past, but I think it wouldn't affect these numbers. So we can close out 118, 119, surplus property, we can close that out. 121, property management, we can close that out. Fee for space, we can close that out. Kind of like an SLA. Governor's office, nothing new there, we can close that out. The legislature, favorite branch of government, we can close that out. the legislative IT shop. All normal, close that out. Joint fiscal committee, who are they again? What do they do? Why do they need 3 million? Okay, so close that. Sergeant of Arms, 28. You can close that out. Lieutenant Governor, that's my section. I did talk to them, and they said they, as a new office, they just did what the last Lieutenant Governor's office did.
I think that's mine.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I guess I had it last year.
You can have it.
Did you go down and talk to him?
Good job. Nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it.
I guess. And nobody wants the Lieutenant Governor?
You
I guess I just had the Governor.
Yep.
Good.
So is that good?
That's good, Lieutenant Governor. We can close that out. Right, Brennan?
Yep.
Okay. Auditor of Accounts. Any
Nothing
comments
going
about
on there, and I talked
Do you
to
want to strike
Mr. Ash.
the deputy?
He said
auditor?
there's nothing going on there.
We get a vacancy savings for 10.
Yeah, we get some vacancy
Maybe we should
savings.
move some money from them
Yeah,
We could take the deputy position, but I
That's what I'm
think he'd
saying.
be yelling at us.
I think consolidation is.
The deputy said there's nothing going on here, so.
well, they should have a savings, because they
That's
no
good.
longer have an office. They haven't moved back in since the flood.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Did you?
Don't they still get charged fee for space?
For flooded offices?
Yeah, I
Oh.
think they do.
That's crazy.
Oh.
I don't know, I guess there is an expense to keep that place.
We should have a
Heated.
whole harness.
There's some money.
Yep,
That's what I was just thinking.
I think buildings would be right over.
Right.
Use that.
So the
Converted into housing,
state treasurer,
or territory.
we have a bunch of stuff, not a bunch of stuff, but we have some things with the state treasurer, but I don't know if that is, like, it's definitely not unclaimed property or the state retirement system. But I don't know if we want to keep it open for the other things, like the never-ending appropriation of the 20 million.
Yeah,
Well,
probably a
and-
good idea.
And there's also some
Yeah.
other expenses, but I think those would be
So
one.
are we gonna leave both sections open?
Let's just,
Unclaimed property or just one?
I think just state treasurer office,
Yeah.
the first one, because unclaimed property is not what we're dealing with. In the retirement state, we're not dealing with. Yeah,
If we were to give them like a limited service position, that would not show up in this part of the budget?
it would, wouldn't it? Because it would be part of personnel services.
Oh, okay.
So we'll keep that.
That's on our radar for a bill in natural resources. We'll see.
Okay, so we'll keep 131 open. But we'll close out 132 and 133. This box note on 133. What is this?
It's it has to do with
I don't remember. A revision?
the operating budget increase. There's several of them that are all connected.
Is it kind of like?
There's a pension.
A portion of the, is it kind of like their own SLA? Or like, or what,
Salaries, I have to,
like they split the cost amongst,
yeah, it has to go across.
and the cost was different than when the governor recommended?
Yes,
Specific cost increases.
I will find out what that is.
Okay, we'll leave it open just so we know, if we have to answer a question, we know. The municipal retirement system is the same thing, is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Yeah. All those, we'll just keep all those open so we can be clear that we know what it is. And for VPEC, the personal service increase, so that's the House added that from special funds.
That's for that contract.
Yeah, we've heard of it.
Oh, that's in the contract. So, but So if we close this out, are we sort of, even though you see that 250 in the one time, like we would want to leave this open if we had a question about the one time? Because isn't that in the one time, that EPIC, or is that just in, it's not, it's just here? Maybe it's not in the one time. It's a one-time appropriation.
Right.
Well, we'll leave it open, because we have a question, at least I have a question about that.
I'm sorry, what do we do with 134B?
134-1, we're leaving open. 134 municipal employees retirement system, also keeping open.
Open, 134-1 is open.
134 and 134-1,
Okay,
all keeping open.
all right. So we on 135 now, or did I?
Yeah, State Labor Relations Board.
So there was a bill. I should.
No, go ahead.
There, I believe this showed up in a bill. They were, wanting some extra positions for, the Labor Relations Board. It was, they proposed a half-time position.
Was it a bill that we took?
Yeah, there was a bill we
Took
took.
it out?
Yeah, we took, I believe, trying to remember the number of it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
don't remember
remember.
a number, but there was a bill.
There was a bill.
Keisha
It was
presented
Keisha.
it.
You're right.
It was talked about, yeah.
But I don't, did you want to leave that open until we figure that out?
That'd be good.
Which one is that?
135.
135, okay.
Keep 135 open. We'll figure out what the bill number is.
Have we got just a list of the bills?
We do. We don't, do we have copies of those?
I don't, but we can
Okay.
do that. So
We
it
should
was
put-
the S-125.
That's 125.
If we forget
That's not right.
somebody's bill and don't, deal with it, we'll hear about it.
I thought it was S-125, because it was around the same day, around the same time we heard S-127.
Yeah,
But will you make copies of that sheet that you have, Amy, of
Yes, I
the bills?
I will. So
Okay.
you can ask Chris about MPEC.
Well, VPIC we knew, we had a question more about the state retirement system and the municipal employees retirement system increase in costs, like the House added money, both of those. So can you explain why?
Chris with Joint Fiscal, the Vermont Pension Investment Commission is not funded with general fund. They're funded with contributions from the 3 retirement systems paid in proportion to the amount of assets they have under management with VPIC. The House had increased the VPIC budget by $250,000 to address some staff compensation issues that have been flagged by a study that they did a few years ago. In order to transact that $250,000 increase in the VPIC budget, you need to change 7 different sections of the big bill. So you will see some increases in those 2 lines with the state employees and the municipal system that you just went through. You'll also see an increase in, I think, B514.1 or wherever the teacher system is.
Okay.
Those increases should all add up to $250,000. You then see that reflected in the VPIC budget.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that's 133, 134.
And then there's the
And,
teachers
yeah,
somewhere
I
else.
think
The
it's
teachers.
514.1 or
Oh,
something like
goody,
that.
okay. So if we propose those 2,
I'd like to keep that open, so I just
Yeah.
have a question about the 250 in general. And it's something that the governor had in his letter, or the Agency of Administration's Dear Jane letter mentioned this as something that they did not want.
They mentioned the language that corresponds to it in the E section, yeah.
Yeah, which is, the way I read it, they also objected to the dollar amount.
Yeah, all of that is sort of interrelated.
Right.
It's all the same issue.
So, until we hear more, I think it's prudent to keep that. The Labor Board will figure out that position.
It's S-125.
It is S-120?
Yep.
Okay. And there's not that many bills. Amy did do a list of the bills, but it's only like 7 bills or something, but we pass it on. Yeah, we don't,
miss one of them, we'll hear it.
yeah. We want to, and there'll be more coming, so it'll be a good list. So we'll share that with you. probably just printed here. It's not,
Yeah.
And a couple of them would be bass.
yeah, one is a lot. So the VOSHA review board, any issues there?
No.
We'll close that out. Ethics Commission, they,
They did request 2 positions.
right,
A total of, with what they got, 336,083. So they're at 223. The positions were going to be 104 for general counsel and 85 for STOF or staff attorney is what they got here.
So those were not in the House recommend?
No.
yeah.
And no,
No bueno.
Do you want to keep that open
Yeah,
to consider that?
depending on where we was,
Yeah.
I'd hate to be
The
a
homeowner rebate, I don't know how that's calculated, but I assume
that's a
it's a
calculation.
calculation that's just by math, but I don't know, you know? Do you know, Chris? Yeah, but it's not like maybe we can change, I assume. So, we'll close that out. Same with the renter rebate. And then if there's any changes, we see those in the BA, if there was some more or less, because it's kind of like an entitlement. Tax department reappraisal and listing payments.
Don't touch that one.
That out.
That's the one that goes back to our towns and our listers. Don't touch that one.
So now we're on the B140, current use. $21.3 million for current use.
This is municipal currently, so this is not
Just the municipal.
just the municipal side.
Yeah. We'll close that out. Pilot payment, 12.2. Payments in lieu of taxes to Montpelier, so this is zeroed out, but those that represent Montpelier shouldn't be concerned because my understanding is that's supposed to be kind of the held harmless, why we see an increase in B142.
That's what I have been told.
I guess it makes
If I
sense.
have any different information, I.
Well, it's 100, well, the math doesn't work out to be held harmless because this is 184 and the Cubs rec was only 150 more.
Just for,
Leave it open.
let's leave it open.
Yeah,
We just
agree.
leave it open. I just would like to ask a few more questions.
Do you want the B1043 video?
One, I will, in that they
142.
affect each other, maybe both of them, but if I had to pick
Okay.
one.
Okay, Chris can
This is my,
tell.
Err on the side of caution.
exactly.
Yeah, okay, so those are pilot for correction facilities. Anybody not want to close that out?
where are we?
B144, payments and lieu of taxes for
We're
correction
about to
facilities.
start up here.
Oh,
Oh, but
So
we're leaving
then-
these open.
Then this is the total, so did we just finish the B100s? Which was general government. And then, so this number there is the total. So that takes us to protection to persons and property. Why isn't it protection of persons?
Yeah, that's kind of awkward.
Kind
Protection.
of, titles be adjusted,
You wanna amend the name?
yeah, we'll work on that. That's a summer, we'll create a summer committee, come up with better titles.
Blue ribbon commission.
Yeah, 16 legislative members.
No, 23 is the new 16.
Okay, Attorney General. So this was the pre-charge position. The Attorney General did ask for the Solicitor General position that we had put in our first budget adjustment. So I'm proposing we'll leave this open just so we have that conversation about that Solicitor General position.
I thought the House took it out in the final version.
They did. Not of the final version of the, well, after the governor vetoed the first BAA,
Right.
we agreed to take it out, skinny down
Put
the
it in the big
BAA.
Okay, so yeah, it's gonna stay.
But yeah, so that leaves the opportunity to put it in here if we want to. So I'll leave B200 open. Court diversion, House had.
I've heard from, my local, Court of Justice program and, what's her name, that lives in Elmore, that is their representative. They have some issues. Farrell.
Oh, okay.
And I've heard from both of them, and I was gonna try to hook them up with, Senator Norris to, because they aren't satisfied with what this is, and I don't know the details.
Okay, B201 will be left open. House did add 1.1 million.
There's a problem with the way they
It's
added it.
distributed.
Yes, that's what I heard from,
Well, maybe because they're
from
grants.
Willa and from,
Jen?
Hobart,
Okay.
who's, the head of their, of the association. She's always in the front of it from,
I've heard conflicting things about it too. So.
yeah, so, and I don't know the details of it.
Okay,
You probably have.
202, Defender General. Any issues there?
Yes,
Okay.
of course there's issues there. Yeah, I met with the Defender General again this morning. During his presentation to us under 3, clearly he has some needs, but I can tell you, it's the last page here, not that one. What did they put in his,
The House didn't change anything.
he said they didn't give him nothing. So basically, of his 510 above total current unfunded additional needs, the 60,000 was a must that he gave back for training during the COVID times, and he said, I want that back.
That's
Oh,
right.
right, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So the 60,000 is a must. And then, there's certain things I'm not gonna, I mean, his ask is 510, but my suggestion would be, one, the 60 and the IT server capacity, because he's losing his offices, obviously, which he brought up was $30,000. So that puts us at, 90, and then his Orleans staff office, if current PD contract remains unfilled, lawyers, investigators, blah, 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 comes up to, 87, so it's, we're looking at 177.5. That takes care of both of his offices, staff, and his training.
So 60, 30, and what was the third?
60 for in-person training,
Yeah.
30 for the IT capacity storage, which saves over $500,000 a year compared to
Right.
contracting with the cloud storage. And the other one was Orleans staff office, if the current PD contract remains unfilled. There's 3 lawyers, 2 staff, 1 investigator, 60K rent, 25 utilities, startup costs, blah, blah. These are one times, it's 87.5.
Is that the total? No, it
The
was.
total was 177.5 above the governor's
The
recommendation.
87.5 is for the Orleans office.
87.5 is for the Orleans office, and these are, some of these are the IT, 30,000 is one time, obviously. So the total would be 177.5.
Oh, but the training would be base.
He'd like to put the training back into his base,
Yeah.
yes, he forego it during his, the COVID time, he said, now he'd like it back, and
In the 87.5 would be one time too, because that's
Yes.
for office setup.
87.5. Yep. 30 is capacity storage should be a one time also.
Right, I think so, yeah.
The only base is the 60,000 for his training that he gave up 2 years ago. So we're looking at 177.5 above and beyond. I mean, where it is, yeah. So
Okay, that we will consider.
That goes with 202?
That was 202, yeah. So the assigned counsel, we talked about that, but there, if there's any changes there, right?
there's no changes there,
So
no.
we can close out assigned counsel B203. Judiciary,
I,
House
What the hell did you do this year?
reduce their second fund revenue replacement. Which I can't remember
They originally had,
details on. Do you remember anything about that, Amy?
So this is to do with their fees not aligning with their need for,
The fees they charge, or no, the fees they get a portion of like fines and court fees. And those were to go to their IT services, but it wasn't, but why is the house reducing it?
I think, was it in the BAA? Did we give them some money in the BAA?
Well, we did the 800,000 in the BAA, that was connected to the Western and Essex County.
No, it's not fine. We need to put the money in there for the brass plaque above the door for Vince Lewis.
It's an extra $40, okay.
I'll have to look into
I
that.
don't remember why the house,
They took
but
it
we'll
out.
keep that open. 'Cause can't remember why it was reduced, because it was the 800 plus the 50, so that's, I don't know where the 2.1 came from.
Yeah, the 800 was, for they had the monies, it was for their implementation of new security, whatever,
Right.
for the $50,000 for the.
Network security,
Yeah.
and the 50,000 for the meeting house,
throne.
ADA restrooms.
Yes. Which is now back in the big bill, right? Removed from the BAA.
No, because the big bill, I thought, was written as if the BA was gonna pass. So I think if the BA doesn't pass, we have to put that back in. Right? Maybe that's not, so that's not in the 800 or the 50.
Okay.
And this negative 2.1, I'm not sure
So
why.
is that something I need to follow up on, or who's gonna? It's in my judiciary category, why they took 2.16 or well.
We can also teamwork with JFO figuring that out.
Great, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll get help.
Oh, I need that.
You need all the help you can get.
The state's
I'll play
attorney,
his game.
state's attorneys, they did.
I think we should leave that open.
Yeah, they did give some that they asked for, but
Yeah.
not all that they asked for.
They have a complicated.
I
Right.
met with them today
Oh,
and tweaked everything else going on here. What number is that? I got sheriffs here.
B205.
B205, state's attorneys. Their big ask, well, it's not a big ask, it was the positions that were there. Get my index out.
Right, that's the house,
Permanent.
One,
right.
the money's already there. No funds are needed for it.
Right, wow.
It's nine vacancy positions, but there's other things, there's other moving parts here, so if they could use 7 of those, leave the other 2 for the unknown, for the vacancy savings, and
Yeah, I think the House bill mentioned 7 positions.
I told lobby for 7 today, so did the House bill mention 7?
That's what I remember.
Oh, yeah, we're hoping to get, and I said, I just run it by everybody, is, those 7 positions with a victims advocate position or a part-time victims advocate position up in Essex, because what they're saying is State's Attorney Aluzzi needs some help up there, is what they're saying. So I said, well, can we make it like a
And so,
50% type position?
Well, he's always in the cafeteria.
So she said that there's a possibility they could get that out of the vacancy, just funded the others, give them the money back, she'll put 7 in there, keep the 9, and she'll find the monies, the 50% monies for the, in the present budget. That's just the state's attorney's office.
Those are extensional limited service positions that you're looking at, I think, that's a big one.
that's different.
Mhm.
But that's what the House did. They extended their limited services.
Mhm.
And that's what the 650 did. Or not? It wasn't it in here,
Was
or be in the
vacancy
base?
savings.
Yeah, 649 was for the state's attorney's 26 vacancy savings. They're requesting legislature increase the state's attorney's base budget by 400,000 in order to reduce the vacancy savings to a manageable number.
They did, the House did 650,000 for vacancy savings.
Yep. So we put it back in and remove state's attorney's vacancy savings.
Well, we'll leave it open and we'll figure out exactly the details.
So, yeah, okay, so what am I missing on this then? Well, figuring out the details on it. The state's attorney's.
Well, I guess the question is, are there is it only vacancy savings or extending limited services to permanent, or is there also some new positions?
Yeah, there's like three things going on.
Yeah,
One is vacancy savings for current positions. They're saying like, we can't make payroll because our vacancy savings is so large. So that's one thing.
they want that back
They
in.
want that back in, which the House did.
That's the 650.
And then 400, they want to add 400 into the base, correct?
That you'd have to look in the.
The 650
memo.
is to the
Look at
base.
The memo.
It is to the base.
The memo.
And then the other one was,
Attorney's insurance memo outlines all this.
Okay.
right, the other one was they wanted one fiscal support staff and one IT field support staff. And so in my conversations with her, is can we combine these two positions?
And they need money for those.
They need money for that position, for that one position, which would be, one came in at 95, the other at 90, so the 94 was the cutaway point. She can fill two positions with one person.
And we need to create a position.
So you would
One
need to create a
credit,
position and you would need to add general fund.
Yeah. If the committee sees fit.
Right. We'll get more, maybe the details on, yeah,
I back up, 201, I found that.
201,
Yeah, 201, which is, diversion.
yeah.
The Attorney General's office asked for 1.7 million on pre-charge diversion, pre-charge diversion. They, 1.1 that the House added is addition to existing programs. They need another 600,000 to continue to move, pre-charge, out to the whole state. So they gave the 1.1 to existing programs for their expansion, but there's some areas, there's diversion programs that don't have services at all. And so how you balance that out is really the question.
So is that additional 600,000?
That would be additional on top of the house that would be needed to extend it around the state. But I think the question really comes, do you want to, if you don't go above that, do you want to expand existing programs at the expense of places that don't have anything? Well, you know, so the 1.1 was the expansion on the programs that exist. It leaves about 600,000 for other places that don't have pre-charge.
Did she say what those places, or how many places there were?
I texted them and said that you wanted to meet them for lunch tomorrow.
What a guy. What a guy. See, I do have staff.
I'm doing all of your administrative assistant work.
I appreciate that. So I should put that on my calendar then, or did they get back to you?
They haven't got back to me yet, but I did get a hold of them and I'm working on
Okay, so we are.
them. So that just gives you.
Yeah, no, that's okay, I wrote that down for, but we're still gonna leave 201 open.
201, open, I get it.
Oh, yeah, that,
Yeah,
but
but
that's why we
yeah.
need to leave it open.
So there's still some question about the state attorneys. Maybe we can get that list and the dollar amounts for each one.
For which ones?
So the state's attorneys, unless you feel like you do have that list?
Well, I got the 94 for the, those two positions are gonna be combined into one. I was told 94,000
Yeah,
for that.
and then,
I'm not sure about the victims advocacy. 6 victim advocacy divided by 750 would be what per position? I don't know.
Well, we don't need to.
We don't need to
They
know.
wanted 6 new positions, right? 6 new
For
victim
victims, yeah,
advocates.
that's not.
That was 700, that's what they wanted.
750 for 6 victim advocates.
And I think they even had other, yeah, more that they wanted.
Oh, yeah, they had 6 paralegals, 6 administrative support staff, 1 document manager, support staff, 1 PCR public records training, 6 victim advocates.
I think they wanted 18 positions.
Full position.
Wait, which one are you on?
This is
One
state's
is 18.
attorneys.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 22, and then they got the 4 deputy state's attorneys. They want to convert from limited service to permanent.
Right, but I think that's what the House did.
But they don't need any monies for that. They have the funds for that.
Well, but it's the vacancy
22
too.
positions?
Well, no,
No,
the 4
just
deputy
4.
state's attorneys.
For deputies.
Yeah, I wish they did have the money for all this. We could close that. These
Well-
positions are currently in our fiscal 26 budget as limited services with an end date of June 25. The request is to change them to the permanent status as of July 1, 2025. And they have the monies for them. I don't know who's working on this one, so I was told.
That's different than what the House did.
Yep.
That's, because we did that in the VA. Allowed them to spend that money. We'll spend some more time with that later. So that's to be kept open. Special investigations unit. Pretty straightforward. Staff increases, normal staff increases, I think we can close that out. Crime victim advocates. So I don't know if that's different than the victim advocates, right? In the state's attorney's office.
Yep.
So this, and then we can close out. Sheriffs,
Me again?
this is another reduced vacancy savings and transport deputies.
What did they do? They put their 650,
The House,
reduced vacancy saves of transport deputies, $650,000.
gives them 650,000 per.
That's to maintain the present positions that they have. They're asking for a lot more, 6 state transport deputies at a cost of $850,000. I said that I would run it by the board, the committee, because we took testimony from the Defender General's office, from Judiciary Zone. I said, we got a 23,000 caseload backlog and we need to get these people to court, and the present system working, they can't do it, get it to court. I'm just giving you the answers. I'm not lobbying for them, obviously. So I said I could ask for 3 positions along with the IT position at a cost of, that'd be $426,000 for 3 positions. Now, obviously, we can divide that up again by 2, whatever you want, but they're requesting 6, and I said I can go back to the committee with 3.
For transport
For
deputies.
transport deputies, yeah.
So that reduces the.
In addition to what the House did? The House did
Yeah.
650 just on vacancy savings.
Just on vacancies.
So you want 3 new positions?
They want 3 new positions.
And then what did you say about IT?
That was, the total cost was 426 plus an I, was 520, which was the fiscal support staff. This is their office. It shouldn't be confused with the sheriff's. This is they do both for the deputy sheriffs and the state attorney's office. That staff for the physical support and IT field support is $94,000 what they do. They're in the office for both entities. So the total of that would be 520
Okay, we're gonna.
if you gave them 3. If we gave them 3 state paid deputies.
Mhm.
3 deputies, but then are those other ones also positions or just money for the?
Just the money.
Fiscal.
I took the 426 for the 3 state deputies and combined that fiscal support and IT field support staff at 94, and it comes up to 520 for those 4 positions.
So it is another position is that the same one we
That's
were
the
talking
same one
about
we're
before?
talking about.
Oh,
It's
for
in the
state
office.
attorneys.
It does combine the work for both the state's attorneys and sheriff.
But budget item would be in the state's attorney's budget, or would it be in the sheriff's budget?
I would put it in the state's attorney budget. Because she hasn't broken down that way.
So in the sheriff's budget, it's just the 3 to 6 positions.
Yep.
For transport deputies.
So $850,000 down, and I said I'll lobby for 3, which is $426,000.
Okay.
It's better than a sticking eye.
Okay. Well, since we're losing members, I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah.
We'll attack public safety and military next.
Those are mine.
You again.
And the
Yeah.
commissioner just
That you
texted me,
can-
so I gotta call her tonight. She must have a problem.
You'll get that lead off next time.
Yeah, so do I need to follow up any further with, state's attorneys and sheriffs, or any questions
I think
on
it would
that?
be good, maybe we just had it in writing, kind of like what the current ask
Okay.
is from them,
I can do that.
even just like in an email.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions, comments, favorite, favorite?
51.
Okay. The joke of the day is, did you hear about the man that evaporated? He'll be missed.